A father had sprinkled a few drops of liquid over the body of his unconscious son, who had accidentally fallen off a cliff. Suddenly, a vulture drew near, lured by the stench of death. It plunged its beak in, ready to devour what it thought was a lifeless meal. But then, the boy who seemed dead rose unexpectedly. Startled, the bird was thrown down the ravine, while Peter, still weak, opened his eyes in utter confusion. Desperate, the boy cried out for his father, but his voice was swallowed by the vast emptiness of the mountain. With no other choice, he tried climbing down, yet the soaked terrain nearly cost him his life. By sheer instinct, Peter managed to cling to a rock. Suspended halfway across the abyss, all he could do was hold on. To make matters worse, black clouds gathered above, and soon a storm unleashed its fury. Rain hammered against the cliff wall, turning the stone into slick soap. Still, Peter clung to hope and resisted for hours, until something unusual caught his attention. Down below, the valley was filling with water. Seeing this, he held on until the flood rose high enough. Then, with courage, he let go and threw himself into the torrent. By luck, Peter survived the plunge, but it came at a cost. His body slammed against the current, and with a painful crack, his leg was dislocated. Screaming in agony, he crawled to shore and drank from the river to regain strength. Then, bracing himself, he wedged his leg between the cracks of a rock and fashioned a splint from branches, binding it tightly to keep from fainting from the pain. But relief was short. Soon, the howls of hungry wolves pierced the night. A pack had caught the scent of his blood. Desperate, the boy limped away. But as the shadows closed in, his only refuge was a tree. There, motionless, he endured the night awake. At dawn, one wolf clamped its jaws around his wounded leg, nearly making him black out. With a frantic strike of his knife, Peter wounded the beast and managed to break free. Yet the pack remained close. Only when the sun broke through the clouds did the wolves retreat. Left behind was the injured boy, staring at the wounded animal whimpering on the ground. Starving, Peter thought of finishing it off, but when he met the creature's eyes, he saw a silent plea. Against all odds, Peter relented. Using his belt, he tied its muzzle shut and dragged it to a nearby cave, where he dressed its wounds. The days that followed forged an unlikely bond. A boy and a wolf, brought together by pain, learned to trust. When they found food, they shared it. When they rested, they guarded each other. Little by little, their wounds healed. Soon, the boy who had stared death in the face now walked on, a wolf by his side, and so, Peter and the wolf continued forward, side by side, in search of the home they still needed to find.